Oh, thank you so much, Michael. This is going to be our first crack at casting Beast Coast with the new lineup that they have. We didn't get to see them yesterday at all, though we did get to cast TSM. The analyst desk is rating Beast Coast very high.
Yeah, and rightfully so. They brought it to an 8-7 against Oxygen. That's really impressive stuff considering how strong Oxygen have been looking as of late. And I'm just so darn happy to see Biologic back on a team. I'm so happy that he made his way onto Beast Coast, and I think he's going to be a great fit for that team in the long run.
Why?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
So, good match. Looking forward to it.
Did production lose their minds?
I don't know what you're talking about, Parker.
There's a picture of Pojo Man eating a banana on your face.
You are seeing things, all right? It's no idea what you're talking about. Bananas are great, though. I like bananas.
I don't care. I don't care what you think about bananas. I'm just curious.
That's harmful.
It's almost gone.
Ouch. What are you fixating
For the
on
record,
right now?
I was not told about this ahead of time. So I don't know why it's there, but it is there, and good for them. In the bottom left of your screen, or well, kind of just the left-hand side, you'll see Pojo Man himself. Without a banana, by the way, without a banana.
Mm-hmm.
It's just him. Returning to the fray, Gio has some visa issues, so he has been sidelined from action. Pojo Man, the coach of TSM, is stepping back into the fray, which means that their second coach, Data, will be behind the bench. He looks very similar to Chala. Yeah, we know. Okay, you don't need to point it out. Just point it out to him all the time.
Is it? I would imagine
Chala,
that gets really annoying really fast.
Chala, of course, the best performer yesterday. Even though technically Hyper had the highest kill-death ratio, it was Chala with the best rating yesterday.
Right.
You're going to look for a strong performance from him. The changes to Beast Coast have enabled Fozo to play in a way that he did not do before. Of course, there was no shortage of people on Beast Coast who underperformed their potential in the previous stage. Will we have another repeat of Fozo doing well? Will Anthony, the top-rated performer on the team, have another good day? Well, we'll find out. We're just a couple seconds away from loading into Oregon and what should be a relatively even matchup in terms of the map. Now, before we get there, we've got a community poll for you. Both of these big brain players, or Bane, I mean, if they're fans of Batman, I don't know, have had their time off competing before this stage. Which one will blow up today? Is it going to be Pojo Man or Biologic?
You merely inherited the banana. I was born in it, molded by it.
I don't even know what to say. I don't want to dignify that with a response.
You gotta lean into it, Parker. Your Bane voice is so much better than mine.
No.
You
You stole it. All you gotta do is you just gotta put a cup up to your mouth like this. That's it.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about the
That's
cup
all you gotta do.
method.
You gotta just take a cup, and then you can basically just say anything.
I don't have a cup. I have water, but I have a cup, but it's got water in it. So
Maybe don't tilt it. You'll spill water all over yourself. We're just a couple moments away, by the way, from getting in. I think there's some last-minute technical work that's being done, and a number of teams have made some changes in this offseason. The change that was made by TSM that brings Pojo Man off of the bench and into action was not a deliberate move by TSM. Gio obviously is still very much a starting member of this squad. Unfortunately, the government, man. So he can't play, so Pojo Man is coming in, but the good news is that Pojo Man has had a long career of active duty when it comes to Rainbow Six. He is not just a coach being plucked from obscurity. He's actually got some pretty good experience. And the benefits of having somebody like that in-game are going to be huge. The same as how Dark Zero has that. BC obviously was a storied and well-decorated player in North America for a long period of time, transitioned to coaching Dark Zero, and now he's in the game again. And that means that with Mint, who's now going to be a coach, you basically got two coaches. Pojo being in the server is obviously going to be a help for TSM as he knows the ins and outs of all of their strategies and will allow Data behind that bench to do most of the strategic calling.
And Pojo, it must be said, did not perform the best in his first match yesterday, but he did not perform the worst either. And he's, I think, been a solid contributing member of the roster. Played the support roles that he was assigned quite well, and was good on the objective play overall. So, not necessarily in terms of plants, actually, but, in terms of, at least covering and holding down certain angles and, being a team player and all that. So he has not forgotten his ability to play at a professional level. He's still aware of what it takes and what is needed from the players in these positions. So just sorting out some things, and we'll should have the match ready for everyone pretty soon here. One thing I do want to say, and this is just for the speculation fire. The match that TSM got yesterday, they did win, and Beast Coast did lose, but TSM was basically handed that match by Disrupt, so that's worth keeping in mind. A 7-3 is impressive, but also it really was a matter of both teams. TSM came to win, Disrupt came to hand it over. The Oxygen Beast Coast match, on the other hand, Oxygen still a very strong team, just as they were in Stage 1. Beast Coast brought that to the very last round. So I just want you to temper your expectations here. I know obviously most people are going to be betting on TSM here. Duh. But just keep in mind this is not a certain match. There's no result predetermined here. This could definitely be Beast Coast's.
The fascinating thing as we talk about Beast Coast was their matchup against Oxygen yesterday. Yes, they pushed OXG to the brink. OXG did escape with an 8-7 victory. But if you look at the individual scores of the players on Beast Coast and compare them to the players on OXG, well, the scoreline tells a very interesting story. The only player on Beast Coast who went positive was Fozo. He went +3. The remainder of the players on the team either went even or went negative. The standout performer in terms of ratings was Anthony, who finished with 5 plants through 6 rounds on attack. That is a considerably high mark to try to hit again. And he escaped that matchup with a 7-7 scoreline. If you were to look at OXG, though, almost everybody on OXG went positive. The only two who didn't were Kino and Foxe. Yago went even. Kino was only a -1 and Foxe was only a -2. Which was exactly where you would typically find such an even matchup that finished with an 8-7 scoreline. And for fans of both of those teams, I think there's a lot that you can be very happy with from your team's performance. If you're an OXG fan, you might not be the happiest with how it turned out, obviously, with it being a lot, or with it being such a close win. For Beast Coast, you're very happy with that. They're still settling in with Biologic on this team, and we'll have to wait a couple play days to see essentially what his actual impact is going to be. Now, if you're wondering what's going on screen, there appears to be some issues with a headset/microphone.
Right.
It's being worked on and tinkered, as is with yesterday's delays. We have the brightest and sharpest minds in the world on site in Las Vegas, Nevada, to sort these things out. So I'm sure there will be a resolution/update soon. In the meantime, I believe that opens the floor for us to talk about whatever we would like to talk about.
Right.
Period. Anything we'd like.
Technically, that is what we are paid to do. I mean, we could talk about Biologic's history. Something that a lot of people don't know is that Bio's been in the scene for a long time. He's moved from team to team. He's been all over the place. He's played for Oxygen, Reciprocity, which was what Oxygen was before they were Oxygen, TSM, Vertical Gaming way back in the day. And we got so many different teams that Bio's played for. He's got a long tenure in Rainbow Six professional play, dating all the way back to 2017, I believe. He started really early on. And so if you're not, familiar with him, yeah, he is the new player to Beast Coast, but he's got the experience to back his play. And I'm happy to see that smile on his face. He deserves that. I'm happy that he's up on that stage. He deserves that too. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the table here today.
One of the key reasons why he would be picked up for a team like this is for his leadership potential. The Beast Coast squad's most tenured player prior to Bio getting picked up by this roster just a couple weeks ago was Ghost, the player who is no longer with the team. Now, Ghost has floated around in pro play either at a T1 or a T2 level for quite a long period of time. But Ghost tends to be quite quiet and isn't necessarily known for the intangibles that come with somebody who's a strong personality and somebody who can take on that leadership position. Bio brings a wealth of experience, and he brings, as you pointed out, a long history competing at the top. And while Bio's stats are not historically very good, he still manages to be brought onto these rosters for the other qualities that he brings that are not shown on the scoreboard. Another player that we mention quite often whose stats are not always the greatest, or were not, was Canadian, and he was brought onto that space station team not to top frag and not to necessarily contribute in terms of kills, but to the leadership and the qualities that he possessed to guide that team forward. And whether he was getting 3 kills in a match or 9 kills in a match, it didn't matter, because what he was helping them with was enough to make them world champions. Now, whether Bio is going to be a difference maker to that level or not is not the point, but Beast Coast brought him in because they thought that he could give them a boost in an area where they needed. And yesterday's matchup against OXG shows you that there is potential there from Beast Coast. Only one matchup, but if they can string together a couple games like that, then Beast Coast are going to be far more competitive than I think a lot of people predict.
So for those wondering, of course, the age-old question, when does Bolo play? The answer is sometime tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get that sorted quickly, and we can move that date up to sometime in the next 10 minutes.
I'm sorry, was I supposed to laugh there?
No, you don't need to, Parker. You don't have a sense of humor.
That you don't have the sense of humor. I have a sense of humor. You're the one who doesn't.
I got that mixed up. Sorry. That's my bad, Twitch chat. Got that in the reverse. He's right.
And you know
he's supposed to do that.
You know how I know that, Michael?
Pray tell.
I know that because there are dark days, very dark days, Michael, where I go and I read the YouTube comments that are left on the videos of the pro matches that you and I commentate, going all the way back to our time together in Poland in 2017, even up to the most recent matches that we did for the 6 Invitational. And you know what? The heavy thinkers, the smartest minds,
Gigabrains,
they say things, Michael, like, you can tell that Kickstar is tired of the other guy. And you know who's the other guy, Michael? Me. I'm the other guy, Michael.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that curveball coming.
It does. I will say this on a serious note. It does surprise me. It does surprise me how often people don't recognize the fact that you not giving a reaction to things I say is a deliberate move to try and add humor to the situation.
It's actually just my awkward self, and it somehow works out because Parker has like the exact anti-charisma to match my lack of charisma, which just kind of, just like works out. People always talk about, oh, Kix and Parker have so much chemistry together, and it's just like, man, I'm just awkward and he's not, so it kind of like balances in a way that works.
You just said I had anti-charisma, though.
No, you have like the anti-charisma to my lack of charisma, so my negative is matched by your extreme positive, resulting in a negative. It balances out. I don't know how to put it, but it's not like...
Yeah, okay, of course you don't know how to put it. I just listen to it and I don't understand it.
Right, yeah. So that's my bad. But we do actually have the match ready, apparently, because I can hear the game being loaded into right now. So we're going to go into Oregon, and we're going to put this conversation behind us. Woo, woo, woo.
No longer being held hostage by the audio issues that were plaguing Beast Coast. We've got a game to play. TSM's going to be starting on defense now for our second match of our second play day of the second stage. And it's TSM banning Thatcher first. Our favorite British operator, no longer available. And you know what? I wouldn't be too surprised if that continues onwards. A Flores ban, Michael. There we have it. We saw a wide variety of Flores yesterday in our very first play day, and then we saw some today as well in the DZ versus Space Station matchup that preceded this, but not here. No, sir, no, ma'am, no Flores.
Yeah, so the reason for that, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar if you've been playing at high level ranked. It's pretty apparent that there are certain situations where Flores is just way too strong, where he brings too much for you to not pick him. One of those scenarios is elbow hold on bottom floor defense in Oregon. And that's really important because there are only 2 really solid sites for this map, top floor and bottom floor. So if a Flores is brought, that means you only have one true safe place, and even that top floor is directly influenced harshly by the Flores. So getting rid of him just eliminates a whole slew of possibilities for the attackers. I think it's a solid ban, specifically on this map.
Valk ban as well, super common, and we have seen her ban rate continue to tick upwards. Recent changes to Maestro, Mira, Echo have moved them out of the must ban category, and Valkyrie has taken up that spot. And I gotta say, Valkyrie, you're doing a great job of it. Thank you so much for so graciously being banned every single time. Now, with Mai also joining her, we can dive into the bans, but for a second, you see something a little bit unusual on both sides of your screen. On the left-hand side, Bolo. We talk about him a lot. Jason Doty, Bolo himself. He'll be running the Lord Tachanka, who had a heap of buffs right before the 6 Invitational. And then Rudy is going to be running on Blitz. Now, if you did watch SI, you saw an abundance of shields being brought on Oregon, whether it be Clash on defense or both Monty and Blitz available on attack. Look at this lineup from Beast Coast. As they go to attack downstairs in the laundry supply room, this Blitz's focus is going to be very likely to take up space inside of Blue, which is where Pojo Man is right now, and then move over to E-Box, which is where Merc is just behind. That would be my guess, but maybe Beast Coast has some idea of how to use him that we don't know just yet.
I think that's similar to Flores in many ways. Tachanka has a very specific use case. His radius is rather small. It's been buffed, but the duration is rather short, also buffed, but still like only certain situations where you're going to find use out of his utility. I do think that there are more situations where his utility is useful, either way, on this map. So this is a good pick for Bolo. I know people are going to say, oh, haha, he's trolling. But no. I actually think that you can make that viable on Oregon. There's just so many tight corners and so many close engagements. It kind of makes sense. Plenty of places to lob those fire grenades.
We'll see exactly how Bolo uses Tachanka. I don't feel like we've still had a really good opportunity with anybody playing Tachanka as of late. And I mean, no real outstanding Tachanka plays outside of the couple attempts that we've seen on him holding down on Cafe. I would hesitate to say that we've had a showstopper round from the Lord. I'm hoping that we can have that. Bolo has struggled in NA League over the last couple months, even though he did have a tremendous performance at the 6 Invitational. When it comes to land play domestically, he has not been the strongest. We'll see if that breaks at all. My speculation, though, about Rudy, as we look towards the other operator that was mentioned on this blitz, was that he would go through Blue. Oh no, instead he's going through Freezer, and he's being accompanied by Sippin.
Ooh, there's the molly we were looking for. Rudy will eat a chunk of damage. More than half his HP. And Bolo, he knows what he's doing with this. There's been a lot of potential in Tachanka wrapped up in that utility. You just have to know exactly where to place it, and Bolo has clearly been practicing.
More fire going out in front of Rudy, who's not been able to gap close as much as he wanted. 45 seconds left, and Beast Coast's focus on Freezer, but also at the bottom of main stairs. They don't really have much of an emphasis on the back part of this map. Fozo is there all alone. This is something we've seen from Beast Coast before, where they'll send Fozo through the back stairs to try and split push on his own. Despite the fact that they had a blitz on the board, it doesn't go very well for them, as TSM is just absolutely cleaning up, and Bolo gets a huge moment at the end of the round. Takes out 2 separate members of Beast Coast. TSM makes it look easy as BC's entire push falls apart, and round 1 goes in favor of TSM.
You gotta love it when a plan comes together, Parker. And let's talk about that Tachanka play. I know we've been talking about Tachanka as an operator for a lot here, but I need to dissect what just happened. Bolo clearly was aware of where his Molotovs were going. The first few went to the same position, and that position was so powerful. Just on the other side of the lockers inside of Freezer. That not only forces the attackers back from that position where they are primed and ready to strike in through Freezer, but it also prevents their cross in general to deeper in Freezer. That means they have no control over the site, no leverage with which to facilitate a push into site for the laundry players. That's huge! And that's just a few mollies. No exposure at all, no risk taken from the Tachanka, and he stops the Freezer take cold. Love it. Well practiced, well thought out there from TSM. There was no cross from Freezer that Beast Coast could have taken where they run no risk of dying, or rather even no serious risk of dying. It was a pretty desperate push there. So that's a cool factor for that defense. But it's not the only one. TSM were on their toes when the push came in from Beast Coast, who were way delayed by the unexpected circumstances that TSM presented Beast Coast with. Well done.
Wouldn't anything that happened in the freezer be cold?
It was kind of meant to be a little tiny pun, but I didn't want to focus on it because, you know, then it ruins it.
Yeah.
Except for the fire. The fire wouldn't be cold. It'd be hot.
Good point.
You know, I wonder if it was like an actual industrial grade freezer, right? And someone started a fire in it. What would happen? Like, I'm not sure.
You know, cold doesn't make fire go out. Lack of oxygen.
I know, but it's going to prevent things that have frosted over from burning at least as readily as I would imagine they would. So I'm just like wondering how quickly it would spread, what exactly would happen there. Like, I just want to see what would happen if a fire started in a freezer.
You know what
now.
I think would happen, Michael?
Right. I do not know. I don't know. You brought it back! Hey! He found an opportunity, everybody.
Thank you very much.
See, that's why he's the funny one.
I appreciate it. And already I can see the YouTube comments saying, oh, you can tell he's sick of the other guy. That's me. I'm the other guy. Anywho, round number 2 underway. It's an upstairs hold, and Bozo has no pressure from any of the defenders whatsoever to open up this sheet leading into attic. Merc is watching it, but Merc can't hit his shots. Not yet. Bozo gets very lucky, though. And, well, even luckier. The recoil changes to that Jaeger might be the culprit, but Fozo manages to survive with his life intact. Merc has been pushed off of that position. ADS is burned. There goes the shield. Attic control for Beast Coast, at least for now. But Merc will re-engage. Oh no, damage done to him, but he's still around. Ooh. What a nice shot on the Fozo.
That was clean as Fozo hits the floor. There's still one player inside of tower. Achieved is trying to flank tower right now. He's in meeting by stage, leading into Green Hall. He'll think better of it. Here's someone maybe by split. He's worried about his flank. Merc is trying to assist. There's still someone in tower, Merc. Biologic gets a freebie. His first kill of the match. And he seems to be aware of the potential green presence. Pojo will get Anthony, but no, he looks the wrong way. And Achieve brings this back to a decisive TSM lead.
So rare to see the TCSG in hand, but Pojo is putting it to good use. Bolo's been down, so it's a 3v2, still favoring TSM. If Bolo can get picked back up, then he's in a better spot. Pojo trying his best, but now he's disoriented with Bolo still down and Pojo now dying. It's a 2v2. Achieved and Chala will need to do work, but you can never count Chala out. He takes down Rudy, and Sippin is there now as well. Does a lot of damage to Achieved. Expecting a push from the back, Sippin looks in that direction. He's going to have to post up. He could actually capitalize quite well on Achieved. He does so, but Chala does Chala things, and TSM takes their second round in a row.
Chala just does not lose those with Frost. You put that weapon in his hand, the 9mm, and he makes it work with the 1.5, 35 bullets in the magazine. Beautiful stuff from Chala. Great round for both teams, frankly. I honestly thought Beast Coast had a solid chance of bringing that one back. So, let's see. The hard destruction was probably the greatest issue there for Beast Coast. They got the attic wall open, but wow, it took a long time. Like, oof, real long time. There are more efficient ways of doing that. We've seen a lot of different ways that wall gets opened up. I don't like that one that we just witnessed. But the one thing it does do is it means that you don't have to play your Zofia in tower early on. As I'm sure most of you would notice, when it used to be old attic push meta, the Maverick will make 2 lines, one on the top of the wall, one on the bottom. That's your typical Maverick trick. But if you do that, you need to have someone to open the wall. You could shoot it open because the studs are gone, but you're more likely to use an explosive to save time. That means your Zofia starts in tower and has to rotate back over to the master push later in the round to deal with other things, like maybe Electroclaws on the wall. That's not the case if you open it by yourself as a Maverick like he did, but it still didn't work out very great for Beast Coast, and they, as a result, also didn't have a lot of manpower by the attic push. Merc was able to punish. Great hold by TSM follows that up. Hard destruction is lacking on the master side, and the round goes to TSM.
What I am most amazed by out of all that, and this is just a small thing, was how fast and loose Fozo was playing with that Mavericking, as you touched upon it, right? I mean, there were three opportunities that Merc could have very easily punished Fozo for that. And I mean, Merc missed his shots, but in a normal heads-up gunfight, that's something where your defender comes out ahead of. Fozo got very lucky with that one. When Fozo dies early, that means that the deployable shield that the ADSs need to be burned for doesn't go down because the grenade that destroyed it was in Fozo's hands. So Beast Coast not only loses attic control and allows Merc to play off of that position much longer, which puts Bio in a more precarious spot, as Bio was also over by back tower before he died to Achieved. But it also means that TSM have one area of the map where they don't need to focus as hard on. I'm not entirely certain if the round could have gone another way based on that gunfight because TSM looked stronger, but man, oh man, Beast Coast were gifted opportunities because Merc couldn't hit those shots.
Now, something else different going on here in this round is that wall getting opened up right there. With that open, it's going to be a lot easier for Beast Coast to apply pressure to the top floor, but they're still going to lose the first player. It's Rudy to go down. That's not a great start for him, obviously. Achieved is primed and ready for a second one. For some reason, Fozo is on a solo entry downstairs. That is worrisome. Your hard destructor, at least one of them, by himself trying to clear out roamers, I don't know about that. And we've also lost Biologic. Things continue to get worse, but thankfully, Anthony's able to get one at least. Pojo will answer elsewhere, and this is still TSM remaining dominant. This could be that third round. They've been looking so good on this defense so far. I don't know if Beast Coast has any recovery potential here.
Fozo just can't go anywhere as he just gets pumped full of bullets from the K1A of the Vigil. Achieved, credited with that one, and it puts Anthony in a 1v4. All but starting for TSM to move up 3-0. Yeah. It would be, in this case, a perfect rotation. And Anthony looks towards Merc, but it's Bolo to steal the kill away from him. Jason, that's not very nice. You need to share with your teammates. They're all sharing in the lead, though, now, as TSM is up 3-0.
Flawless cycle, as you mentioned, Parker. Well done to TSM. And we still have some players who have yet to die. I mean, a 3-0 is one thing. Obviously, that's a whole deal. It's impressive, especially on Oregon, where that middle site that you're going to go to that we just saw TSM on, typically not going to be a great site to defend. Still, TSM manages it. But the fact that there are players who haven't eaten a death yet, or at least as far as I could tell, I know they did change the orientation of the kill, like the deaths and the assists, and I actually, honestly, Parker, I don't even know what it is anymore. Why did they change that? I'm so confused. Also, I've been told it's different in certain places. Like somewhere in the UI, it's assists, deaths, and then other places, it's deaths, assists. Anyway, it's a tactical timeout here from Beast Coast.
It's a second matchup in a row where a timeout is taken after the one side has taken a 3-0 lead. SSG went up 3-0 over DZ in our very first matchup today, and now TSM is up 3-0 over Beast Coast. Dark Zero took a timeout after going down 3-0, and it worked out quite well for them. They won the next 6 rounds in a row. If you're Beast Coast, you're hoping for the same thing to happen, but I don't necessarily know what you could do at this point. Oregon has the distinction of being a defender-sided map. TSM are winning on defense. That's the way these things go. And I can't even really pinpoint anything wrong with TSM that you could potentially take advantage of. When DZ was losing on defense, the reason why was that they didn't have a full idea of where they needed to hold map control. SSG found those spots, those holes in their defense. They exploited them. There's no real weaknesses here that TSM is presenting, at least not that I've seen. And you touched upon Fozo being alone, but that is actually textbook Beast Coast. Every time you see Beast Coast play on this map, Fozo tends to be by himself, usually somewhere over near tower. That's just the way they do it. The Maverick has a single job. Fozo is usually capable of surviving long enough to get it off. In this case, whether he survives or not, Fozo's not been able to find anything on the scoreboard. They didn't like him on the hard destructor. The Maverick obviously is not working out well after 2 or 3 attempts at it, rather. He's now on the Yana. Yana is a strong operator on Oregon, not just able to drone effectively with her clone, but also brings grenades, and you have the Gon 6 as your secondary. So lots of soft destruction that Fozo will bring.
Even more Giga Brain. Didn't even catch this the first time. barbed wire that Bolo just put down inside a freezer. That's his prompt for the mollies. It's exactly where the molly lands. So you hear the rustle of the barbed wire, you hear someone hit the barbed wire, and no, you're tossing out Molotovs. Very aggressive play here from Bolo, and he almost loses his life to the nade tossed in by Rudy, but he'll get out of that, knowing that he has a larger role to play further in the round.
Bolo and Chala have not died yet. You mentioned earlier on that we still had some people in the server who hadn't died. Well, those are the two that haven't. We'll see how long that Tachanka can stay alive for. Both Chala and Bolo are playing on operators that need to survive to the bitter end. You don't have persistent gadgets that can wreak havoc on the attackers. No, for Chala, you're the smoke, so you've got those toxic canisters. For Bolo, you've got the Molotov, so you need to be mindful of that. The Shumika launcher, as it is officially known as, that will be lobbing out damage and also denial. And as we touched upon in the first round, Tachanka got a significant buff in a number of ways. He's stronger now than ever before. There's a minute off the clock, and Beast Coast are trying to clear on this main floor before transitioning towards the basement. TSM are being very patient. All 5 of the defenders sitting somewhere within arm's reach of the bombs, or themselves sitting by the bombs in the bomb sites.
Yeah, the one advantage that Beast Coast has right now is that they've managed to clear out all the roamers, they've got the vertical, and they now have a great situation to set up their execute. They can go from either way. Blue tower to pillar, freezer in main. I don't know if they want to deal with that Tachanka, though. That setup really did throw a wrench in the plans of Beast Coast last time. And I think it's more likely Beast Coast is going to angle for the blue tower, especially with their positioning right now. That's not going to be an easy proposition either, though. The way that this is set up, TSM has a good hold on pillar still as we hit the very last minute of this round.
Obviously, Beast Coast didn't like that freezer take, which means that Bolo will have to look elsewhere to do some damage. This back tower take that's going to come out, and a drop through E-Box is all but the norm when it comes to this map. Which is looking to engage at a very close range, as an Ella will thrive in that particular area, but I don't know if he gets droned out or not. Teamwork instead. Some of those tosses from over towards Blue, and Pojo knows he can't really fight that. He's going to try anyway.
Oh,
Fozo takes out Bio. No, that's not supposed to happen. The first kill technically goes to TSM as a member of Beast Coast goes down. Sippin meets a similar fate. It's Bolo from deep inside of the site. Rudy watching over the hatch that will drop into E-Box. Fozo in that same direction, but guess what? A Shumika launcher is going to stop your advance. On the ground, Chala guns down Fozo. He's not looking in that angle at all. Anthony with one on the Pojo. Rudy drops. He's dead. Bolo a double kill. And Anthony in a 1v4 with 3 seconds left knows he's not going to be able to accomplish anything at all. He's got that diffuser, but you might as well drop. Nobody from TSM is going to get the kill. So, well, if you're Chala and Bolo, you still stay alive. Through 4 rounds, they haven't died just yet, and TSM have not dropped a round through this game.
Interesting round there. So Beast Coast are still struggling to get their entries, but it's also partially due to the fact that TSM are setting up to deny them so well. When you have a pillar hold and a blue hold, including elbow, from the defense, one of the most efficient ways to dislodge the defenders from those positions is to open up E-Box drop. That's the one in meeting that leads to E-Box. So once you get that open, you can make a lot of explosive plays out of it. It is surprisingly difficult to stop an attacker from making a play from that drop. Obviously, you're going to have the advantage for a short time as the defender if you're able to hold the angle on that drop, but there are so few places where you could do that and not, die to a push from somewhere else. So typically an attacker strategy on that site, if you're coming from that side, is to drop an E-Box while executing down tower stairs, while executing through blue, and that way the defenders in those positions are unable to react adeptly to your attack. They'll always get caught off guard by whatever your angle you're trying to approach at the time from. But, once again, the Tachanka, little things, go a long way. That Molotov and E-Box, several Molotovs and E-Box, I would imagine, prevented the drop in E-Box from being more successful than, than average and, well, even successful at all. It stopped it dead. But it's also just a hard setup on pillar side from TSM that aided in that. So, in general, nice pillar defense from TSM. Also, Tachanka still working.
And took you 57 seconds to get to your point.
Yep, I know. But it was fun to talk about, though, wasn't it?
And it was fun to listen to. I didn't actually time, so I have no idea if it was 57 seconds. But
I mean, it felt like 40-something. But it was a long
like
spiel.
An eternity.
Oh God, feels bad, man.
Anywho, An upstairs defense for the second time in a row. TSM has yet to drop a single part of this map, and well, would you look at that? Their fortunes for this 5th round are looking pretty good. Rudy, the sledge, is 0-5. That is not where you want to find yourself at all, especially playing on what is often an entry or second entry position, depending on the way that Beast Coast organizes these pushes. Now, in a way, it was technically an entry for Rudy, but he died. So that is an unfortunate situation to find yourself in. Ojo is still playing off this angle. He does a lot of damage. That wasn't a headshot on the Sippin at all. Must have hit the shoulder. Well, Michael, it wasn't a headshot because it didn't hit the head. Oh, no. Bolo in action. Pojo gets one. Nobody from TSM has died in this round. Bolo is 8-0. Chala is 5-0. And Beast Coast, despite the praises of the analyst desk, are having some bad luck.
Yeah.
Fozo finally gets his very first kill, taking out Achieved, who swings from over towards Split, and now Fozo will head up the main stairs where Bolo is playing. Pojo is playing as well, and Fozo must have been doing some aim labs because he shoots the Nitro Cell through the air, but he's not able to stop the bullets at all. Bolo picks up the very final kill, 9-0, TSM 5-0. Final defense for TSM coming up.
Ooh, Parker, do you know what this means?
It means that TSM's in a good position to win?
It means that my hypothesis from the previous TSM match, that they had learned their lesson defensively from the 6th Invitational, have revamped their defensive structure to put further emphasis on the roam and less emphasis on that roam retreating half round as is custom or was custom in North America. Once again, on a different map entirely. First it was, I believe, Consulate, if I'm not mistaken. Now it's on Oregon. TSM are setting up extended roams in positions that are commonly fallen back from, holding those positions, taking the fights aggressively, winning their fights very simply, and there's the round. That was a complete lockout. Absolute lockout. There was no chance for BC to set up for their site execution, and that is because they couldn't handle the roam. Maybe it's because they expected the roam to retreat. Maybe it's because they didn't expect TSM to just aggressively take fights on every opportunity they were presented with. But here we are. There was, TSM lockout. And it's a tale of two things. It's one, Beast Coast with lackluster coordination currently, and it's two, TSM, again, bringing a new interpretation of their defenses to bear. I love it. Sorry, that was another long-winded one, but it's interesting.
I think everybody here gains a lot from hearing you nerd out, which is the official phrase that we use in the business, to discuss the analytical side of this game and the analysis that you need to do. So, all that said, I'm sure there will be more to dive into, and you kind of need to just peel back a little bit, Michael. You gotta let those poor folks on the desk have something to talk about.
Sorry. That's my bad.
It's okay. Will Beast Coast break this streak, by the way? They took a timeout at the end of the 3rd round, and well, guess what? It didn't really do anything. Oh my goodness. Well, Pojo was robbed of what could have been a headshot in the previous round, but he gets one there as he takes down Anthony, and well, you've got Fozo as the single hard breacher. Pojo eventually dies, but he was playing at the top of tower in T3. That's not exactly a spot that you are going to survive in for a long period of time, especially if you're dealing with a competent pro-level team. Bad for Beast Coast, though. They just lost Rudy. So now TSM is in an advantage again. With the exception of the downstairs attacks by Beast Coast, this has been a very quick tempo that's been set by these teams.
I really want to know what skin that is that Sippin has. It's like an off-white, greenish, mint kind of color.
Very nice, yes.
Yeah, I love so aesthetically pleasing. Like, just to look at it, I need that skin, Parker. I need it.
Gorgeous. I imagine it's probably a battle pass skin, Michael. That's going to be my guess. Because it's not the new seasonal skin, unless it's... And they don't tend to just include any skin whatsoever, so...
It could be an alpha pack skin. I think the pink one was an alpha pack skin, and that would make sense, as it's just a color.
It could be. Now, anyway, the focus from Beast Coast with a minute to go is towards the back of the tower, and they're just going to huck some nades in and hope to find something as Merc is playing off of that deployable shield over and add a good night to Achieved. My goodness. That was a nice shot from Bio, and he read him perfectly for it. Fozo can't do too much to take out Chala, as TSM are now scamper off the positions that they held. One player from TSM still lurks downstairs on what is a joint kitchen/meeting defense. Ozo's in, but my goodness, what a shot from Chala. Not too far off of him, there's Sippin, and he's going to be hot on the trail of this smoke, playing off of the position, and as well, Chala, the mute, playing over by Split. Down he goes, so Sippin will need to do some work. He finds Chala, but 2 more to go. Diffuser surrendered over by what used to be sandbags, but now is just an overturned table. Sippin picks it up, but if he goes to defuse, well, they're going to hear him. Bolo will creep on around, and it's an easy kill. Bolo survived that entire first half, not dying once. First half is in the books, and it's 6-0 TSM. We might be but a couple minutes away from the first 7-0 that we're going to see here in the NA League second stage.
All right, now hang on. Let's hold our horses. You grab Rudy, I'll grab Stamper. I think this could be still a match, Parker. We're going on to defense now. It'll be hard. But it's possible. So, anyway, let's talk about the round a little bit, I guess. It's more of the same, really. Again, TSM are assigning themselves positions of play, and rather than treating it like a site or not a site, they are simply stating, this is my position to hold. I will give it my all, hold it as long as I can, and make or break on this spot. And again, that philosophy of, just staying where you are and doing your thing and setting up specifically to make it easier for yourself and not giving up on that midway is working for TSM. Beast Coast struggling, but they're learning a little bit. The problem is, while that was a much closer round than previous rounds for the attacking Beast Coast, they are now the defending Beast Coast, so a little too late.
10 seconds left.
It's been a hard match for the Beast Coast fans out there. There has been very little for them to be proud of. In terms of objective play, they didn't get a single diffuser down. Keep in mind that coming into this matchup, Anthony got 5 plants through 6 rounds against OXG yesterday. There were 0 diffusers planted today. That is not an ideal spot to be in. Additionally, only 10 kills on Beast Code's side of things through those 6 rounds. That is a dreadfully bad number. That is not where you want to find yourself at all. It's less than 2 kills around. That is a brutally low number. And of course, we're going to point this out. Bolo still has not died yet. He is 10-0. Chala did die, so he breaks that streak. But, I mean, at this point, a death or 2 is not really what you're focused on. What you're focused on for TSM is winning the game and getting back to the team house as quickly as you can.
Yeah, there's still hope. Anthony's going to take the first bit of damage here from a nade. Wow, how did that? Was he standing there? How did that not kill him? Maybe it landed somewhere else. Maybe it's just... yeah, I know. Okay, I see that it's on the one on the right. So a little bit of damage, but no death there for Anthony. He will persevere. You can see that Beast Coast is set up very passively. They are trying to avoid death at all costs. Backs against the wall, or at least in the metaphorical sense. So they need to... actually, in the literal sense, too, honestly. Like, they didn't extend themselves at all. They're not taking any risks. This is about as default as it gets on a top floor setup. And they're just hoping that the time will waste away and win the round for them. At least that appears to be their disposition.
That's been an absolutely demoralizing matchup so far for Beast Coast, but a round or 2 here could completely flip the momentum of this matchup. Not necessarily out of reach just yet, but this is a steep mountain that Beast Coast is going to have to climb to get back into this game. 6 unanswered rounds. We very rarely see 6 rounds in a row. We did technically see it in the previous matchup. Dark Zero pulled it off against Space Station and did end up coming away with a victory despite losing some of that momentum. For Beast Coast, you were hoping to God that a round or 2 here can possibly slow down TSM, but it doesn't start off on good footing at all. Anthony dies to Achieved. Fozo now waiting to see if somebody's going to push in through big window. Is Fozo positioned in a way that he's shown? Achieved can't see him. He's got a grenade, though. He'll toss it in. And there's some damage done, but not quite enough. Rudy goes down now, too, as well. 30 seconds remaining, and there's Fozo, but he can't hit a broadside of a barn. Bio and Sippin in a 2v5. Nitrocell goes off. Nobody there at all. Bio will retake. Damage being done, and he gets a kill onto Merc, but there's so many more that he's going to need to get. He's not going to get any of them. Neither is Bio. Neither is Sippin. Neither is Beast Coast. Did Bolo die? Because I didn't see whether he actually went down or not. but it's a 7-0 for TSM. That one was over before it even started, Michael.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are going to see the scoreboard, but we should see it in a little bit. And I am curious too if Bolo died at all. I don't think he did. No, he did not. Not a single death for Bolo. He also drops 12 kills. That means flawless 12. That is, wow, that is unheard of, actually. That you don't get that. Anyway, well played to TSM. There's two things going on here, Parker. Number one, Beast Coast had a terrible match day. Absolutely terrible. Number two, this new structure that TSM are employing on the defense is really good. Really good. I love it. And I don't think most of North America is used to seeing it yet. It's going to take some time before TSM starts to lose again, in my opinion. Unless the next team to play them watches this in the last VOD and learns some lessons really quickly.
I think irrespective of whether you are a fan of Beast Coast or not, to go from such a high that you had the number one team in North America last stage, OXG, you push them to all 15 rounds to then getting 7-0'd in your immediate next game. That is a deflating result for any team, but my oh my, that's going to be hard to come back from mentally for Beast Coast. The good news is they've got a reset. This is our last Playday of the week. We'll be back on Tuesday. So Beast Coast has plenty of time to grind through what went wrong and try to sort it out. We also have some analysts who are going to do the same thing, by the way. But before we get there, a break, and then we'll come back because we still got 2 more matches to play here on our second Playday of Stage 2. Don't touch that browser. We'll be right back.